Have you taken the IELTS multiple times without success? Are you 2, 1, or even just half a band away from what the NMC or GMC require in order to give you your PIN or license to practice? Then stop, take a breath, and let us help. You see, here at IELTS Medical, we've given doctors and nurses the tools they need to pass the academic version of the IELTS exam as efficiently as possible. Whether you've reached above 7.0 in 3 sub-tests, but can't seem to crack IELTS writing, whether it's IELTS reading that's the thorn in your side, it's okay, we're here for you. Learn more at ieltsmedical.co.uk.
The last thing I would like to happen is to misinform anyone at all. My credibility is very, very, very important to me. It is all I have. So why am I saying this? So a few weeks ago, after NMC had their final meeting regarding this whole IELTS OET update on the 28th of September, people were waiting on me to, come and explain. NMC posted something on their Twitter page. At the time when you go on their website, there was nothing concerning the changes, okay? It was only on their Twitter page that I saw, and then some people also had, some of the documents from the meeting they had. In the Twitter post or in the tweet, they didn't really go into detail. Okay, so they spoke about 3 things, so everybody was interpreting it differently. The main confusion was about the second thing as to NMC now accepting references from employers. That is one for those that were taught in English, even in a non-majority English speaking country, whether NMC was going to accept employers' reference. But in my video, I explained that NMC was only going to accept for people in the UK. But other YouTubers were also saying that no, it's not like that. NMC was going to accept references from people in Nigeria or Ghana or wherever, so far as you were taught in English, they're going to accept employers' reference from your country. So I also decided to call NMC at the time. Guys, I just want to explain why it took me this long. So I also phoned NMC, and then the confusion got worse, okay, because what the NMC call handler told me was totally different from what everybody else was saying, and it was totally different from what I inferred or what I got from reading the tweets, okay? So in order not to confuse anybody, because now I didn't know whether I was the one speaking the right thing, or other YouTubers were speaking the right thing, or the NMC call handler was the one speaking the right thing. So I decided to put the video on private, so that means nobody could watch it anymore. Then recently the NMC has come to explain, and apparently what I said in my video was the right thing, okay? So I've put the video back on public, okay? But they have given some more details and some more examples. So that's what I'll be talking about in today's video. Okay, so yes, if you did not watch that video, I'll leave it here. They brushed on 3 particular points, and I explained, and apparently what I said was the right thing. But today I'll be giving the specific examples that they've also given now, okay? Stop that. So still, when you go on the NMC website and you check the English language requirements, it is still the old one, okay, which was updated sometime back in 2020. It's still the old one. But if you want to know the current one that I'll be talking about today, you go on nmc.org.uk and check news, okay. After you tap on news and updates, okay, and then you choose blog. We are making changes to our English language requirements. So everything I'll be reading today is from that particular page, okay, is their blog, okay. So this was is a blog posted by Matthew McClelland, Executive Director of Strategy and Insights, okay, and I'll leave a link in the description so that you can head over and then just read for yourself. So let's just skip to, all these things that they said. Let's go to the meat of the whole issue. So they said, what do these changes mean for applicants? Some internationally educated applicants have asked us what these changes mean for them. We hope the explanations below will provide some clarity about what the changes will mean when they come into effect next year. We are finalizing the implementation timetable at the moment and will provide more detail on exactly when the changes will be in place as soon as we can. NMC. We thank you guys for clarifying everything now, but I don't know why they are saying that they will let us know when the changes will be in place soon, because last time they said October, then later they said early next year, so I don't know. Okay, so combining your test scores. English language testing is one of the main ways you can demonstrate your ability to communicate well in English if you're applying to join the NMC register. We currently accept 2 language tests, the academic International English Language Testing System, that's the academic IELTS, and the occupational English test, that's the OET. There are 4 main domains we test for, and the required scores have not changed. So that's it for you guys. The bottom line is the required scores for the IELTS or the OET has not changed. So that means if you're using 1 result to prove your English proficiency and it's the IELTS academic, you are expected to get at least band 7 in all the modules and at least 6.5 in writing. And if it's the OET, I expected expected to get at least B and then maybe a C plus in the writing. Okay, and I'll post it on the screen so you see. Now they said if you don't pass the first time, you can resit and combine scores from 2 test certificates. Currently, you can't combine test scores if you achieve less than 6.5 or less than a C plus. That's for those writing the OET in any part of the test. As this is already the required score for writing, it means there's no flexibility for that part of the test. Do you understand what they're saying? They're saying that at the moment, when you're combining test results, you already accept a 6.5 for writing. Yeah. So as that is the required score, then it looks like there's no flexibility because already the minimum for the writing is 6.5. So that's the pass they are going to change. Okay. So from early 2023, this will change. You must still achieve the required test scores for each domain. You get it. But to combine test scores, you need to get no less than 0.5. That's for the Ielts, or half a grade. That's for the OET, below the required score for every domain. You understand? So this means you'll be able to combine your scores as long as you achieve 6 or C. 6 for the Ielts, or C, that's 250 or above for the OET in writing, and 6.5 for the Ielts, or C plus or 300 above in the other 3 domains. We call this the minimum score. It makes sure you don't score too far below the required mark in any test sitting. So this is what they are saying. Okay, they want to be a bit more flexible for people when you are combining the test results, not when you're applying with just one result, when you're combining. And before, when you get below 6.5 in any of the domains, in any of the tests that you are combining, they were not going to accept it. When you get less than 6.5 in any of the domains, in any of the tests, they were not going to accept it. But now it has changed. Now you can get a 6 in the writing in any of the tests and they will still accept it. Now a 6 will be accepted in writing when you're combining the test results. Okay, and the rest are still not less than 6.5. Okay, but for writing, not less than 6 now. You understand? Okay, so they gave an example. So they said for IELTS, now let's say 6.5 in listening, 6.5 in reading, 6 in writing, and 6.5 in speaking will be accepted. That's when you're combining 2 test scores. Okay, for OET, C plus in the listening, C plus in reading, C in writing, and speaking C plus as well. So now for the writing, it has dropped further to C. Okay, so that's the major change when you're combining 2 tests. So they want to be a bit more flexible. So they said to combine your scores, you must currently retake your test within 6 months of sitting the first test. We will be extending this period to 12 months to allow for greater flexibility and more time to prepare before retaking the test. While you have the option to resit if you need to, we encourage you to prepare as much as possible so you can pass your first time round. There are lots of guidance, blah, 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 blah. And they said these changes will provide greater flexibility if you don't pass the test the first time without compromising the high standard of English that is needed for safe, effective, and kind care. Until these changes come into effect, you will need to continue with the English language testing following our current requirements. So, like I said before, they said they hope that the changes will be implemented from October 2022. Now they are saying early 2023. NMC, why? And even for early 2023, they've not set a specific date. Until then, if you are still applying to join the register now, from now till then, you are still required to use the requirements from before. These changes does not apply to you. When you go on the NMC website, okay, they give examples as to the old requirement. Okay, let me say the current one. This score is not accepted. If you get test 1, you get listening 6, reading 7.5, writing 6.5, speaking 7, and then you get listening 6.5 in another test, reading 7, writing 7.5, and speaking 7.5. They were not going to accept this because you had 6 in listening. However, this score is still not accepted in the current one or in the changes that they are making. This score is still not accepted because the least you are supposed to get in the listening now, if you are combining, is 6.5. But here in the test 1, the person had listening 6. So this score will still not pass for the current one. The current one, the flexibility only lies in the writing, that you can get 6 in one of the tests. Okay, so that's the only difference. So now 6 in writing in any of the tests that you're combining will be accepted. Okay, and now you don't necessarily have to sit for them within 6 months of each other. Now you can sit for them within 12 months of each other, and that would also be accepted. So I hope you guys are okay. If you are confused, give me examples in the comment section and I'll check if it meets the new requirement or not. Okay, just random, just put in the comment section. I'll go over and I'll respond to everybody. Okay, so now another thing that they said they were looking at was supporting evidence from employers. Okay, let's see what they said about that one as well. Supporting information from your employer. From 2023, we will accept supplementary supporting information. So guys, when they say supporting information, that is not like the main evidence that they need. It's just a support to back up another piece of information that you are bringing or another piece of evidence that you are bringing. So they said, we accept supplementary supporting information from your employer that demonstrates your ability to communicate effectively in English in a practice environment if 1, you narrowly missed out on a score in one of the 4 domains by 0.5 in the Ielts. So let's say 6 for writing and 6.5 in the other domains, or half a grade in the OET, that's C or 250 or above in writing, and C plus or 300 or above in the other domains. Okay, so that's good news. I'll explain later. Okay, or if you were trained and assessed in English in a country where English is not a majority spoken language, you will need to have worked for your employer for a minimum of 12 months within the last 2 years in practice in a health and social care setting in the UK. To ensure consistency and avoid bias, we'll also be producing a standard NMC form for employers to complete. Your manager will need to be an NMC registered professional and use this form to provide evidence of your English language competence. A more senior NMC registered professional who's working for the same employer will also need to countersign it. It's important to note that while we'll consider carefully quoting information from your employer, we cannot guarantee that we'll accept you onto the register. NMC. So what this is saying is that for those that narrowly missed the required score by 0.5, or for those that are from non-major English speaking countries, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, all these African countries, and you were taught in English, like almost every African country they teach in English, like nursing was taught in English, and you have a UK employer. You see, now they've clarified this part, and I'm happy they did. Now they are saying that this person should be not just a UK employer, this person should be registered with the NMC. So 1, you should have written the IELTS and you narrowly missed the required score by 0.5. And for OET, you should have missed it by half a grade in the OET. That's like C or 250 or above in writing and C plus or above for the other domains. So let's say you wrote the IELTS and you had 6.5 in listening, 6.5 in reading, you had 6.5 in whatever. It looks like what the NMC is saying is that you can have this result and still get registered with the NMC if you have a UK employer who is registered with the NMC. So that person should be like a nurse, a qualified nurse in the UK. They are going to give you a form for this manager to fill. Okay, so that means the person is not going to lie because their pen is at stake, right? And then after that person, your manager, your immediate manager completes it, a senior most nurse or a senior most manager also working for the employer should also, approve it that it is right and confirm your competence in the English language. And you should have worked for this employer for at least 12 years in the last 2 years. And so when you narrowly miss the required score by 0.5 for IELTS and by half a grade in the OET, that means if let's say you had a 6 in writing and the other domains you had 6.5 instead of 7, you can use that result if you have other supporting evidence from a UK employer like what I just explained. Or for the OET, you had a C plus in listening, speaking and reading, and a C in writing, that's half a grade, that's like 250. You can use that result plus a UK employer's reference to back it up to be registered. So that's like number 1. Or maybe you got your training from a country that is not considered English speaking by the NMC, but you were trained in English. You can use that plus the reference from your UK employer stating that you are proficient in English, as evidence that you registered to join the NMC. But the last sentence is that they are saying that it is important to know that while we'll consider carefully supporting information from your employer, we cannot guarantee that we'll accept you onto the register. So they'll consider it, but it's not a guarantee that they would accept you onto the register. So for somebody that was, let's say from Ghana, okay, and you don't even have the IELTS at all, they are saying that you have worked for UK in a health and social care setting in the UK, and you have worked for at least 12 months, okay. Let's say you came as a senior carer, you've worked in a health and social care setting, right, in a care home. They'll give you this form to fill. Your employer can just fill this form. So your current manager will fill this form and then sign or confirm that you are competent in English. And then a senior most, so let's say the nurse in charge will will sign this, and then the senior most manager for the same company will also sign. And all these people should be registered with the NMC. You can use that as evidence to prove your English proficiency. However, it is still not a guarantee that you'll be approved to join the register with that, okay? But it is worth trying. I mean, it's worth trying. So, but they are saying that this is going to start taking effect from next year, early 2023. They've still not given us the exact date yet. I hope it doesn't go further than January, because this thing has become so long and the back and forth is just too much. So guys, basically this is what the NMC is saying. 1, the IELTS and the OET required score has not changed. You still need 777 in the 3 domains and at least 6.5 in writing. However, if you're combining 2 test results for the IELTS, you do not necessarily need to have sat for them in 6 months of each other. Now, you can sit for them within 12 months of each other, and that will be accepted as well. Now, a 6 in the writing will be accepted when you're combining 2 results. The lowest should be writing, which is 6, will be accepted when you're combining 2 test results, not when you're using 1 test to apply. 2 test results, okay? And for the OET, a C that's like 250 to 290 will be accepted in writing. In writing, when you're combining 2 test results, none of the other domains should be less than a C+. And for the IELTS, none of the other domains, that's the writing, the listening, and the speaking, should be less than 6.5. when you're combining the results. You understand? And the other thing is that for the employer's reference, yes, they are going to accept reference from your employer as supporting evidence to meet your English language requirements to join the NMC register. But you, the person, you should be 1, somebody who was taught in English. You had your nursing education in English, even if you're not from a major English-speaking country. Or you should have your IELTS results, but maybe you missed the required mark by just 0.5. Maybe for the IELTS, you had, let's say, 6.5 instead of 7 for the reading. You had 6.5 instead of 7 for the listening. You had 6.5 instead of 7 for the listening, and you had 6 instead of 6.5 for the writing. You can use this result together with a reference from your UK employer, and you should have worked for this employer at least 12 months within the last 2 years. So those that just came to the UK as care assistants, you don't qualify. Maybe you are just 2 months old, you don't qualify. You should have worked for this employer for like 12 months, okay? And that should have been like 12 months in the last 2 years. This person should be registered with NMC. They'll give you a form to fill, and even after this person signs, a senior person who's more senior than your immediate manager but works for the same company should also sign, and you can use these to prove your English proficiency. However, it is still not a guarantee that this will be accepted. They also do their checks and all that. So that is it, and the changes are likely to take effect from early 2023. So that's all. That's all, guys. That is all. Pop in your questions and let's just help each other in the comment section. I'm welcome to answer anybody in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope this is clear enough. I think now this is clear enough, and I think I understand it better now. I'm happy now. Like everything is okay now, guys. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and bye.